they're like walking along with you. Like they're little penguins on your legs. Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing another favorites video, my second one of the year, so you know, we're still trucking. And I am just going to show you a couple of things that I've been using this month for different facets of my life, and yeah. Okay, so I'll just get started. I'll do the things that I physically have, and then I'll talk about like the games and the books I've been reading after. So this month has been so gross. Like it's been rainy, and then it's been warm, and then it's been cold, and then it's been warm, and then it's been cold, and then it's rained, and then it's frozen, and then it's melted, and then it's like, it's just so gross. It's like a swamp outside. So I have been wearing these kind of slightly dirty because of what I just mentioned rain boots. They are extremely cute, as you can see. They're flowery and bright. I got them actually a couple years ago. I kind of forgot that they existed for a while. I got them at, I want to say Mark's, like Mark's Work Warehouse. But yeah, I got them a couple years ago, and they're really good quality. Like they're really thick rubber, and they have, you know, a cute pattern. So like literally what else could you ask for? They're a little short, so maybe if you have to deal with like really deep puddles, then it probably won't be for you. But as for me, I really like them, and they've kept my feet perfectly dry and warm. They're also quite soft on the inside, so. And staying in the vein of keeping my feet dry and warm, I've also been wearing these adorable slippers that are covered in dog hair, don't mind that. Oh, they're actually getting dirty. These I got for my birthday from Nick's parents and family, and they're so freaking cute. They're little penguins, and I love how the penguins aren't on the toe, like they're not laying flat looking at you like a lot of like slippers that have faces on them are, but it's like they're like walking along with you. Like they're little penguins on your legs. I really love them. They're kind of falling apart is the only thing, but like I said, I've been wearing them constantly, like 24/7, like every single day. And I am in the house most days because I work from home and I study from home and I go to classes sometimes, but I'm like home a lot, and I've been wearing them nonstop, so like I can hardly blame them. They've gotten like a normal person's use of like months out of them. But yeah, they're from Livion Rose, and I don't know if they have them anymore, but they are very cute and very warm and very soft. And then I have been drinking a lot of coffee, as I always do, and we have a Keurig. We don't have like a coffee pot machine, like a drip, what's it called? I think it's just called a drip coffee machine. Anyways, we don't have it. We just have the Keurig, and I was kind of getting upset by how much waste we were creating because it's so wasteful to use a pod every single day. But I also, on the same like hand, or on the other hand I guess, I don't need more than 1 cup a day. Like I don't need to brew a whole thing. Like I don't need to have a whole pot, like, because I'll probably drink it and then I'll get hopelessly addicted and that all will be lost. But anyways, so I didn't really know what to do, and then I heard about these little dudes, and I got these at the grocery store. I have 2 actually, and they're just little reusable Keurig pods basically. You've probably seen these before, like at the grocery store. They were just hanging next to the Keurig pods, and it's just like a little filter that you can put like the amount of coffee needed for 1 cup of coffee, put it in, run it, and then it makes like a perfectly good cup of coffee. Like I was afraid that it wouldn't be right, like I was afraid it wouldn't taste good, but it works totally fine. We just have like Maxwell House, regular, ground, medium, whatever. I'm not like a huge coffee connoisseur. I just, you know, drink the caffeine. But yeah, it works really well with just regular grounds, and it's really cut down our waste a huge amount. Like we still use the disposable cups for like the specialty drinks, like the hot chocolates and like the ridiculous, you know, cappuccinos and stuff you can get, but that's because they are just a treat. Like we don't use them that much, so it's not like I have a coffee every single day, and then on the weekend me and Nick both have like 2 or 3 cups, and so to use a pod every single time for that is super wasteful. So I like being able to use this little dude. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to wash out. Like it's hard to get like every single ground out and make sure that it's completely clean, but I think it's worth it. And if you let it sit for a little while and like dry, they come right out. So yeah, I love this thing. Okay, and the last thing that I have in the physical world is this book bag. that I actually got for Christmas. So you might recognize it from my Christmas haul. It is just like a tote, like it's a totally normal tote, and it has the different Harry Potter book spines down the front. So it starts at the bottom with the first one and goes up to the 7th. And I mean, first of all, it's really cute. Like I really love that. It's like the actual art from the books, and yeah, I just like having the idea of having all the books with me at all times. But it's also just a really good bag. Like the tote, the material is like canvasy and it's really strong. The handles are nice and big, so I can fit them over my shoulder, even though it's like not necessarily an over the shoulder bag. Really strong again. It's like kind of, like I said, canvasy, so I feel like it'd be pretty water resistant. And I mean, I haven't noticed anything when I've been walking to school. So, and it can fit my whole laptop in it and a bunch of other stuff too. So it's like a really big, good size, and I just love it. I honestly didn't know at the beginning that much use out of it because I was using my purse as a book bag. But I decided to give it a shot, and I am so much more happy with it. It's much better, more roomy, and yeah, I love it. Okay, so that is it for the stuff that I have in my house. And now I want to talk about some video games that I've been playing. One of them, I actually recently played Diablo 2 for the first time ever. Like I mentioned before, for school, we're doing, it's for social media marketing, and we have to build our own blog and our own brand. And mine is basically me playing retro games and then reviewing them from the modern perspective. And so one of those games was Diablo 2, and I was so surprised by that game. Like, I thought at best it would be, you know, manageable, it would be fine to play, but I found it so much fun. Like, I love it. I found it to be very interesting. I don't really like hack and slash normally. Like, I hate the like click kind of, that's the only thing you do kind of combat system, but I really enjoyed it in this game. I play a sorceress. I find the spells to be interesting, and they actually are very exciting. Like, as you level up, like, you actually get excited to use the new abilities. And yeah, I just found it really fun. I didn't get to finish the whole thing before I had to write my review for it because it's a weekly review. But I am definitely going back. It's the first game that I've not been able to finish for this blog, and like genuinely was like disappointed that I'd have to wait to play it again until after this project's over. So yeah, I really liked it. If you haven't played it, I recommend it. It's I also don't like isometric games, and I like it. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but I really enjoyed it. I played it multiplayer with Nick, so that might have something to do with it. It's fun to play games with him. But yeah, I really liked it. The other game that I came upon, actually I stumbled upon it, was it's called A Dark Room, and it's basically a text-based adventure game where you start in a dark room and you light a fire, and then someone comes in, and then you kind of make friends with that person, and then slowly you build a relationship with that person, and you build huts, and you build, like, basically you start building a little village, and then you can go out and explore the world, and it's like, it's really cool. But like I said, it's text-based, so it's all, there's no graphics at all, there's no, like, really, like, gameplay necessarily. It's just like at first you're given a single button that says start fire, and you click start fire, and then that changes to stoke fire, and then you have to press stoke fire to make the fire, like, grow, and then that'll run out and you have to press stoke fire again, and then that'll run out and you have to press stoke fire again, and then it'll be like, okay, you ran out of wood, go outside and get more wood, so then you can click to go outside, and then gather wood, and then that goes down, and then when that's done you can gather wood again, but while you're gathering wood you should go inside and stoke a fire again, and it's basically, it's kind of like an idle game, in that sense, but it's also not an idle game. Like, it's more of a, I'm not sure what like the technical term for this kind of game is, but it reminds me of the Banner Saga, where even though a lot of the time like your people are just marching along and you're just kind of watching, like events come up and you're trying to like maintain like the group of people that you're in charge of, and you have to like pay attention the entire time you're playing. It's not like an idle game on your phone where you know, you buy a couple upgrades and then you have to put your phone down in order for it to like gain money or whatever. Yeah, it's more like a text-based like RPG game. The most it has is after a certain point you are able to go out and explore the world, and then it turns into sort of like an ASCII style, like your little @ symbol and you move around like these. There's just periods that tell you like the different coordinates of the map, and then you move around, and then if you run into an enemy, sometimes like I think a bird is an R that attacks you, and then like a man is a G and it attacks you, and stuff like that. It's really fun. I again didn't think I would like it because it's just like pretty like not interesting to look at. It's just like a white screen, but it's kind of sucked me in. Like like I said, I stumbled upon it on StumbleUpon, and I just couldn't stop playing it basically. So you can get it on browser or mobile. I personally enjoy it more on the browser. They are slightly different, especially insofar as there's a story in the mobile one, and I haven't really noticed much of a story except for like obviously the story of survival on the browser one. And I don't really agree with the story on the mobile one. I don't want to explain it a ton because I will probably spoil it if you are interested in the story on the mobile one. But yeah, I recommend playing on the browser. It saves your progress, so if you're playing on it and then you go away, like close the window and then come back, it will have saved your state. Like it auto saves every once in a while. So you don't. I honestly thought it was just gonna get rid of my game and I have to start fresh, but it didn't. So there's your little heads up. But yeah, those are 2 games that I played this month that I love. I also want to talk about an author that I've been falling in love with. It's Ruth Ware. She is a thriller mystery writer. I read 2 books by her. Last year I read A Dark, Dark Wood, and I talked about that in my 2017 book reading roundup or whatever it was. And it was a really, really good book. It was like a thriller, it was a mystery, and it was about the hen weekend, I don't know. But yeah, it was a really, really good book, and so I decided to see what else she's written because it's really hard to find like a good thriller that's not just like basically a horror novel. Like I don't like horror novels, I like thriller novels where you don't really know what's going on and you're like, you know, you don't know who to trust and stuff like that. And so I want to see what other books she's put out, and I read, oh god, what's that book called? It was called The Woman in Cabin 10, and it is about a woman who goes on a cruise. She's a journalist for a travel magazine, and she goes in place of her boss, and she gets to schmooze with a bunch of really rich people, really important people, for an article for her blog, or her magazine, and something goes awry with the girl in Cabin 10. Again, it was a really twisty, winding trip. You never knew who to trust. There was a ton of characters. It was kind of hard to remember all the characters actually, but it was really good. It was another really, really good book. I highly recommend her if you like thrillers where you kind of don't know who to trust, what's going to happen next. I highly recommend it. And probably any of her other novels. I'm definitely going to read more of them. Another book I read this month was The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. Carey. Now there is a book that I do not want to say literally anything about because the excerpt on the back of the book only gives you like a small little, like, you know, insight into what the book's going to be about, and then you start reading it and it's totally not what you expect. So I'm not going to say anything about it except for that it's a really, really good book. It's a little bit depressing, I guess. Like, it's got a pretty bleak outlook on life and humanity, but I found it to be a very intriguing book, very interesting, very exciting, kind of like a thriller, but not really. But yeah, it was a really good book. I highly recommend it. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have been up to this beautiful February. What have you guys been doing? Are you reading good books lately? Playing good video games lately? Let me know. I'd love to hear about it and talk about it in the comments, so go ahead. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you liked it. And I will see you in the next one. Later days.